welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I thought I would do something a little bit different and film a story time video for you guys and tell you about my one and only experience ever working an office job, which is at New Look head office. All the drama that went down, why I quit, and why I will never work an office job ever again thanks to that experience. So if you want to know how things unfolded and all the drama and the goss, then just keep watching. Okay, so now that I'm all comfy with my nice comfy sofa today and my cushion, let's get straight into it. Okay, so I'll start from the beginning. So I graduated in the summer of 2016 from uni. And then that summer I got a part-time job at New Look, the store, just until I found an office job that I wanted to do, kind of in like fashion or beauty, kind of head office type roles. So I was working at New Look store for 4 months, and then I came across the position of a merchandising admin assistant at the head office of New Look. I didn't get any preferential treatment or a direct transfer or anything. I still had to apply just as a normal candidate, as a graduate entry-level job for that role. So I applied to that and did the interview stages. I think there was only 2 interview stages. One of them was a video interview, which was horrendous. Oh my God, weirdest experience ever, talking to a camera. But I say that, yet here I am making YouTube videos, so that makes absolutely no sense now. But at the time when I had to do the video interview, it was really weird. I had to record the answers to the questions that popped up and kind of just say it to the camera. So whatever, I did that, and then I had the face-to-face interview, which I had to prepare a mini presentation for as well, on New Look as a brand and how fashion is moving forward and the trends and this and that. So I created a little PowerPoint presentation on my iPad, took that with me to my interview, and had my interview in person. So what I'll do is I will change the names of the people involved, just in case this comes back to me in any way, which I don't think it would. Should I use the name? No, I won't use the names. Just to be safe, I won't use the real names. So let's say the interviewer's name was Rihanna. So Rihanna interviewed me. I did my presentation to her, and she was interviewing me to join her team as the merchandising admin assistant. She already had an assistant merchandiser, and we'll call her Lily. So Lily was the assistant merchandiser. Rihanna is the merchandising manager, and she needed an MAA for her team, which she was interviewing me for. So I did my interview with her. She was lovely. She was so nice. We got on really well, and then within a week she got back to me and she told me that I got the job. So yay. I was going to go to London I think the office used to be behind Oxford Street, so I'd get the train, the tube, head into London and start working around November. So I started my new job, amazing, great, got to know everyone slowly. I wasn't expected to do too much to begin with. Rihanna kind of like guided me. She showed me how to do things. She was teaching me. She was really supportive as well. She was like, no worries. If you don't know, ask me. I'll never expect you to do something without knowing it first. So she really helped me and guided me. Lily was just there. She helped me as well, but not so much. She kind of just got on with her own stuff. So it started off really well. So I'll just explain the setup as well. So we were sitting on a table with six of us. So it was a rectangle table. I was on the end. Then Lily, the assistant merchandiser, was in the middle. And then Rihanna was on the end. And this was the merchandising side. And then on the opposite side of the table, we had the buying team. So we had the assistant buyer, whatever her name was, in the middle. Then we had the girl that was my equivalent of a buyer opposite me, and then the buyer for the team opposite my manager. And I worked for the seasonal fashion accessories department of New Look head office. So it was things like socks, gloves, hats, sunglasses, all of those kind of things were what we were in charge of and what we had to deal with. So anyways, I was settling in nicely, and the first few weeks were calm, they were fine. I was getting to know the ropes a little bit. Both my assistant manager and manager were kind of helping, mainly my manager. She was very helpful. We went out after work, we got to know each other as a team, and that was all good and fun. And then after about 3 weeks, my manager Rihanna got a promotion. So that meant she had to leave our little team and go join another team in another area of the department. So then that meant my line manager was going to change, and I was going to have a different line manager. Being fairly new to the job still, I was quite anxious about that, and quite rightly so. So the new manager who was taking Rihanna's position came in. Okay, so we'll call my new line manager Louise. So Louise had previously worked for New Look head office, and then she quit and she left for a while, and so she was basically coming back. And she knew a lot of people in the department already. She'd been there for quite a long time, I take it, before she'd left. So she came back and everyone was excited that, oh yeah, Louise is back, yay, woo. And then, so she was now my new line manager. And I think Lily actually knew her, my assistant manager. I think they knew each other. So they were more than happy to work together. But the thing with Louise is that she wanted somebody for the job, for my position, that knew what they were doing already, which doesn't really make sense because New Look head office offers entry role positions for fresh graduates. That is why I applied in the first place, which is why I got the job. And that means that they have to teach you along the way because you've not worked before in a graduate job, in an office before, so they will train you appropriately for that role. But with Louise, the issue was that she wanted things done and that's it. She didn't want to teach you how to do it. She didn't want to help. She didn't want to do none of that. She had a task, she would send it off, and she wants it done. So that didn't help somebody like me who just graduated and is the first office job that I'm doing, where I'm still learning because I've only been here for 3 weeks, yet I'm expected to know how to do all these things that I haven't been shown before. That makes zero sense, first of all. Secondly, she was a really, really bad communicator. So instead of telling me 2 seats away, hey, can you do this? I need you to finish this work off before you go home. She would sit there 2 seats away and email me at 5 o'clock when I'm meant to finish at 5:30, get this done, please. I'm sitting 2 seats away from you. Why don't you just tell me to my face and then, tell me in person because we are next to each other in person? No, I will just get a blank email, no hey, no kind regards, no nothing, just link attachment and can you get this done please, I need it. Well, okay, but I don't know how to do it. So now what? Then every Monday morning, I would have to print a whole bunch of weekly report sheets from the previous week, leave it on everyone's desks in the whole department, and be on top of that. So rather than starting at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, Louise started telling me to come in at 7 o'clock on a Monday morning. She needed me to be there at 7. Bear in mind, it is winter, it's dark, 24/7. I go to work, it's dark. I come home from work, it's dark, it's pitch black. So there I am in the winter, waiting for the train at 6 o'clock so I can get to work for 7, print a bunch of sheets and lay it on everyone's desk and then sit there for like an hour and a half before everyone else gets there. And I tried to reason with her and say, well, look, I don't need to come in at 7 to do that because it doesn't take me 2 hours to do it. It only takes me half an hour. And she's like, well, I need you to be there at 7. So Monday mornings, I was there in the office by myself in my entire department, sitting around after getting my job done within the first half hour. So that was already an issue. And I was like, why am I coming to work so early when I clearly don't need to? On top of that, there was her emails giving me jobs to do half an hour before I finish that she knows takes at least an hour to do. So most days I also wasn't finishing my job on time. And I don't mind staying late, but why am I coming in 2 hours early and then leaving 2 hours late? It's not fair in any what way. So in the 3 months that I actually worked there, I had my monthly reviews. So the first month, obviously the first 3 weeks was with my manager Rihanna, who was the one that hired me for her team, and she was lovely, but that only lasted about 3 weeks. So when I had my first end of month review, it was with Louise. It was pretty vague because she didn't know me that well to know how I'd been working. So it was more like, oh yeah, you know, you need to pick up the pace or this or that, whatever it was, just like minor few things. Okay, that's fine. She didn't really know me, I didn't really know her. It was fine. Yeah, so I was there for a total of 3 months and I had my monthly reviews. So the first month, when it was me and Rihanna, she let me get involved in a lot of the physical and the fun side. Like where we worked in fashion accessories, there was days where they were bringing so many samples of jewelry, shoes, makeup, whatever, and we would go through them, we'll sort them out. Like if I didn't have too much to do that day, Rihanna wanted to give me a little break from sitting at the computer at the desk the whole day. She would tell me to go help out the other teams and like sort through the makeup or sort through the jewelry, and we got to have first pick on what we wanted from the samples, because that was one pack of the job. We got to take the samples home, so she would allow me to do a lot more hands-on stuff. Whereas Louise, on the other hand, was very much, no, your job is to sit at your desk and do your job. And with lunch breaks as well, she was very much like, she would give me work to do that needed to be done through my lunch break, so I'd have to eat at my desk, whereas that was never the case with Rihanna. So then second month, when it was Louise who was my manager, she would not let me get involved in any hands-on stuff, even if it was our own things like our sunglasses and our socks, which is what we deal with. She would be like, oh no, if you want to do that stuff, do it after work or whatever. Like, you need to do your sales, you need to do this, you need to do that, whatever my tasks were. And so when it came to my second end of month review, she was quite like, oh, you're not where I need you to be in terms of how quickly you're picking things up and how fast you're working. Are you sure this is the role for you? And I was like, I'm not really sure. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's my first job, so how am I going to know if I don't work it? Like, it's been 2 months. I'm not going to know in 2 months if this is the job for me or not. And she was like to me, oh, I don't really know if this is the job for you because, you know, it requires a lot of this, that, the other skills, and, you know, you're still trying to pick it up, blah, blah, blah. And maybe you should see what other options there are for you. Basically trying to say that she didn't want me without saying the words that she didn't want me, when she has no reason not to want me, because I do everything that I'm told to do. Just the fact that I'm entry level, like I've not done this job before, and she clearly wanted somebody who had done it before and who knows everything inside out, back to front. Well, you didn't get given that, so you got to work with what you've got, which is me. You got to teach me. How am I supposed to know if you refuse to teach me, yet you expect me to get the job done? It's not going to work. So she was all trying to make me feel like I need to question what I want to do in life. She was like, yeah, I know it's your first job, so you sure it's what you want to do, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I'm still figuring it out. And then she also let me know in that meeting that every single member of the department would be having a one-to-one meeting with the department manager, Joe, about getting a pay rise. So each individual person, from admin assistants to managers, were all going to have one-to-one meetings with the whole entire department manager and get a pay rise. And they were going to talk about how much they were going to get in each individual meeting. So she said to me, yeah, so everyone's going to get a pay rise, everyone's going to have their own meetings, but you might not get a pay rise and might not have that meeting because you are on probation. Yet when I started the job, Rihanna had told me that I'm not on probation because I have previously worked in New Look, the store, for 4 months before moving to the head office. So when they did my paperwork to go from the store to the head office, they did it like an internal transfer, even though it wasn't, I didn't apply for the job through internal routes. I applied for the office job as an external candidate, just like anyone else would. But the transfer that they did for me to get into head office quicker was internal. So it looks like I've been at New Look head office, or I've been with New Look the company for 5.5 months already. Louise was like, yeah, you're on probation, so I don't know if you'll get a pay rise or any of that stuff because you've got 3 months probation to go through first. And I was like, can you double check that for me, because that's not what I've been told. So then she didn't get back to me. She was like, yeah, I'll get back to you on that, blah, blah, blah. She never got back to me on it. And then the day came where we all had our one-to-one meetings with the department manager, Jo. And when I had my meeting with her, she said to me, yes, so it looks like you're on probation, so you're not going to get a pay rise this time round. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, you know, no problem. It's all right. And that was the end of that. And then during my last month, it was just so long, man. Like, working for someone who clearly made it super duper clear that they don't want you to work for them. The other girl as well, Lily, was absolutely useless. Like, she would just sit there. Like, you're the assistant manager. Your job is to liaise with the admin assistant and the manager and keep the group together. Instead, she would just spend all her time with the manager, and then there's me like, guys, sorry to bother your chat, but I need some help, or I've done this now, so what do you need me to do next? Like, it was very cliquey, should we say. Also, in the time that I'd been there, because I joined in November, we had the work Christmas party, and that was great. It was at the National History Museum, whatever it's called. It was there. And I had a few other friends who were also admin assistants for their department, whether it was beauty or jewellery or whatever it was, bags, whatever. So a lot of us were new together. And during my time, in the 3 months that I had lasted, about 7 of the other admin assistants had quit. Like, it was seriously high, the turnover for admin assistants. I don't know if it was other department managers or other team managers. I don't know what it was, but so many people quit the role that I was in. So I know it wasn't just me having a problem. It's an actual problem with New Look head office, and they need to sort it out, because it's not on. Like, how do you justify 7 merchandising admin assistants quitting in under 3 months? That's definitely an internal issue. That's not each individual person's problem. That's a company problem, which they need to definitely address. So 3rd month as well, yeah, it was crap, whatever, it was the same. And each day or each week was just getting harder than the previous week. Like, jobs that take time, my manager was like, no, you can't take your time. Like, so one of my main tasks was to mark down stock. So we were going to put all of our socks onto promotion and discount. So there's this software thing where you type in each individual pair of socks SKU code, like barcode basically. You type it in, it's like an 8-number little code. You type it in, you set it up as a product on the system. You then go to this long page where you go through and put it down, mark it down at 50%, or mark it down at 75%, or mark it down at 25%. So it'll give you the original price, you put the markdown percentage, it'll give you the new price. So I had to input that for, it must have been at least 1,000 pairs of socks. At least 1,000, for sure. Because it was like page and page and page and pages of the same thing, different codes for different socks. Sit down and mark through each one individually, like physically. You can't just group them and be like, these 20 are going to be at minus 75%. No, you had to do each individual sock pair. Oh my God, so time consuming. It doesn't matter how fast you are as a person, you still have to take your time to do that, because you can't mark something down the wrong price. If it's only meant to be 25% off and you've put it on 75% off, all the labels and the stickers are going to be sent to all the stores saying that one pair is supposed to be £2 instead of £3.50, gone down from 5, and then I'll get in trouble anyway. So I would take my time to do tasks like that, and then my manager Louise and Lily would pipe up and be like, why is it taking you so long to do that? And I'm like, well, I'm going to do my work properly. I'm going to check and double check to make sure it's correct. so I don't understand what the problem is. Like, I'd rather do it correct from the get-go so that I don't have to rectify a mistake if I make it like, if it becomes a mistake, I won't have to rectify it, which will be harder to do. So she had an issue with that. Every task that I was doing, and I would get help from other assistant managers because mine was so unhelpful and so unwilling to help that I would have to go around to other people in the department and get them to help me so that I could make sure I'm doing my job right. Yet that was not being acknowledged. Then what happened next? Oh, so next, this was in my last month. At this point, I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to leave. I'm just going to ride it out for as long as I can, and then I'm going to quit because I hate it. And it literally got to a point where even my parents, who are the ones that wanted me to do an office job in the first place, were like to me, we never see you. Like, are you okay? You go to work, you come home and you're shattered and you just go to sleep, you get up and you go back to work. Literally on the weekends, I had no energy. I would just chill at home all day, barely meet up with my friends because it just required too much energy, and I was drained from the week, getting to work at 7 o'clock on a Monday morning, finishing at 6:30 every day instead of 5:30, getting home at 8ish for dinner, and then it's basically bedtime. So then even my parents are like, whoa, this is taking a bit of a toll on you. And I was like, yes, I hate it. Towards the end of the 3 months, I was kind of more or less done, and I was just thinking, you know what, I really want to leave. In the meantime, Lily, the assistant manager, decided that she's also going to hand in her notice too. So she had to give a month's notice because she'd been there for quite some time. She'd given in her notice. It was kind of out of nowhere as well. This was like just 2 weeks before I gave in my notice, she'd given in her notice saying that she's going to leave in 4 weeks. So then the week after, or a week and a half after, I just thought, oh, you know what, I can't be bothered anymore. I literally hate it. So I had my 3rd month review again with Louise. And again, it was the same stuff. She was just like, oh, is this job really for... She was so patronising as well. She was literally like, oh, is this job even for you? Like, are you sure this is what you want to do? You know, if you want to, you have to be more... mathematical and this and that for this type of role. Are you really sure you want to do this? Like, so patronizing. And then that time I was like to her, you know what, you're right, I don't know if I want to do it. I don't think this job is for me. And I told her that in the review, which was like a week before I handed in my notice. I told her in the review, I was like, yeah, now that you keep saying it, actually, the more you're telling me, the more I'm realizing, yeah, I don't know if this is a job for me. Like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if this is what I want to do. I don't know if I really enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I will explore my options and da, da, da. And she was like, oh, okay, that will be really good for you. And I was like, yeah, it will. And then that was kind of our review done. And then the week after that, I thought, you know what, screw this. I'm going to give him my notice. So then I typed up my notice. And in my notice, I also wrote down that she was partly the reason why I'm quitting the job. Because I was like, well, if I'm going to leave, then I'm going to tell you why I'm leaving, because it's because of you. So I was like, screw it, I'll just write it in the notice too, that like I feel like I haven't been taught properly. I feel like this is an entry position, yet I'm expected to know stuff that's not entry position when I've only been here 3 months. I feel like I haven't been supported, blah blah blah. Put all of that in the email, in the notice. I printed it off, and then I told her one day, like, oh, can we go to the office because I need to speak to you about something. So I was due to have some time off. I'd booked off, let's say, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it was that Monday of that week that I gave him my notice because I was just sick and tired. I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna quit. So on that Monday, I asked her if we could go to the office to have a meeting. And I basically gave her my notice and told her, this is my notice. She opened it, she read it, and she was like, oh, first of all, I gave 1 week's notice because they told me I'm on probation. So in a probation period, you only have to give a week's notice. So I gave her a week's notice. Out of that, obviously 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, were booked off as my holiday days, which I had accrued. So it was rightfully mine, like it wasn't working over what I was due. So those 3 days were booked. And then she was like to me, oh, hang on a minute, you have to give 4 weeks notice. So that was the first thing she said. She was like, you can't give a week, you have to give 4 weeks. And I was like, why do I have to give 4 weeks? She was like, oh, because you've been with the company for almost 7 months, so you're required to give 4 weeks notice. And I was like, no, you told me I was on probation. Department manager Joe told me I was on probation. So if I remember correctly, on probation you only have to give a week's notice, 1 week notice, not 4. And you guys told me that I'm on probation, and you refused me a pay rise that you gave to everyone else, even the others who are genuinely actually on probation, that didn't come from the store to the head office. They just came from another job to this job. They all got pay rises, but I didn't, because I was on probation at that time when it suited you. But now you want me to give a 4 week notice because you need me to stay longer, and now I'm magically not on probation anymore. How does that work? I'm either on probation or I'm not. You told me I was, you didn't give me a pay rise for it, so I take it I am on probation, so here's 1 week's notice. And she was like, oh, she didn't know what to say to that. She was all like, yeah. I was like, yeah, so this is why I'm giving you 1 week's notice. And then she was like, oh, but Lily, the assistant manager's also leaving, and you know, I can't be just me in the team, like I need to have at least somebody. And I was like, look, I'm sorry that Lily's leaving too, but that's not my problem. You helped me realize that I don't want to do this as a job, so I'm not going to stay here for 4 weeks to cover the fact that somebody else in your team is leaving, which is not my problem, quite frankly. It's not my problem if somebody else is leaving. I'm choosing to leave too, so why would I stay for another 4 weeks? And I said to her, like, my heart's not going to be in it, so I'm not going to work properly. Like, you're not going to get the best out of me, because you helped me realize that this is not what I want to do. So now that I know that this job is not what I want to do in life, in the bigger picture, it doesn't make sense for me to sacrifice 4 weeks for you, when in that 4 weeks I could probably find my dream job. And that's all thanks to you that I realized that. So sorry, but I'm going in a week. And she was like, oh, I'm really disappointed in you. I really thought you would be a lot more professional and, you know, do what the company says. And I was like, well, yeah, I am doing what the company says. I'm giving you a week's notice, and I'm letting you know that I won't be coming to work in a week's time. And I was like, I even said to her, I was like, I think you was quite unprofessional trying to manage me out almost by telling me that, making me question whether I want to work here, making my tasks more difficult for me, not giving me the support I needed, making me question if this is what I want to do or not do. And you helped me realize that it's not what I want to do. So I personally am the type of person that I can't work somewhere knowing my heart's not in it, because I won't give it 100%. So it's better if I just give my 1 week's notice and be done with it. And you can find yourself somebody who knows the job inside out. She was like, oh, I'm just so disappointed. This is just so unprofessional. But if that's your choice, then that's fine. Like, if that's what you're choosing to do. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm choosing to do. And then that was kind of that conversation. And so obviously I reminded her as well. I was like, so obviously it's Monday, I have holiday booked from Wednesday, so tomorrow would be my last day. And the way her face dropped, she was just like, she was like, that's not even a week. I was like, that is a week. That holiday I'm entitled to, so I will take those holiday days rather than save them and get paid for them. I would rather just take those. And she literally had nothing to say. She was just like, okay, if that's what you want to do. So I started packing all my stuff from the Monday after that meeting. I told the rest of the team, the buying side and Lily as well. I told them, you know, I handed in my notice. Tomorrow's my last day. They were all like, oh no, we're sad to see you go. We don't want you to leave, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, Lily wasn't like that. She was leaving herself, so whatever. And then on the Tuesday, which was the next day, after I finished work, my manager didn't give me any more tasks to do on Tuesday, so I literally had nothing to do. I was just chilling on like Daily Mail or whatever, going and talking to the others, because she didn't give me any work to do, because like I told her, I won't do it. So Tuesday was quite fun because it was really chilled and I didn't have to do much. And then at the end of the day, when I was leaving, I said bye to everyone on my team or the buying side. But I literally did not even look at my manager. She didn't look at me. She didn't say bye to me. I didn't say bye to her. She just continued on her computer as though nothing was happening, as though I wasn't leaving. And that is the day that I walked out of New Look head office with no job, no nothing. I just quit because it was such a rubbish company to work for. The head office is literally so rubbish. If 7 people, 8 including me, leave from the same position in 3 months, then that is saying a lot. Like, when I worked at the store, I had no issues. The store was fine. Like, obviously it's just retail at the end of the day, so there's not much that could go wrong. But the team in the store were fine, they were nice. But at head office, oh my god, it's a whole different ball game. And it just goes to show as well that the department manager, Jo, was not very nice either, because why would she deny me a pay rise to benefit her and to suit her needs? But then when I want to leave, my manager has a meeting with the department manager and they're both like, no, you can't leave. Like, you know, you need to give 4 weeks. No, because why didn't you pay me then? Why didn't you give me a pay rise? That doesn't make any sense. So that is the time that I quit New Look head office. It was such a crap job, literally one of the worst jobs in my life. And it really put me off wanting to work in an office. Like, it seriously put me off. First of all, I realised that I hate sitting in front of a computer and on Excel, which I couldn't care less about. Like, I literally do not like Excel at all. And second of all, I prefer to do a job where I can talk to people and meet people, not have daily one-to-one sessions with a computer screen. It's just so boring for me personally, and it helped me realise that actually, you know what, an office job is not for me. Even if it's the fashion industry, which I love fashion, or beauty industry, which I love beauty, but I would much rather work hands-on with those kind of things than work at a desk. And also I felt like it was really draining. Like, my commute wasn't even that long. It was probably an hour and 10 minutes door to door, which is not long. I know people commute a lot longer than that and a lot further than that, but even that for me was so draining. And I didn't like public transport at the rush hour times. Oh my god, Oxford Street tube station, there was so many days where it would just, they would have to shut the station down. So I'd have to walk all the way to Tottenham Court Road or the next station, Bond Street or whatever, just to get the tube. And it was just so long. I was just like, oh, screw this. I do not want to work in London. I do not want to work in an office. And I definitely do not want to work for that woman again. And do you know what? I actually hope I see her in person one day. Or I hope she watches this video one day so she can realise the video's about her and how crap she was as a manager. But that was my experience working at New Look head office, and why I quit, and how crap my managers were, and how self-serving they were. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little story time / venting session, or whatever you want to call it really. I feel like this type of video is quite refreshing. It's a bit more entertaining maybe than just doing a makeup look or whatever all the time. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a massive like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and leave me a little comment. Let me know what you want to see next. Let me know if you want to hear more story times. I will try to rack my brain and think of other experiences that I've been through that are worth talking about. So yeah, let me know if you want to hear and see more of this type of video. Also, apologies guys if this video was a little bit all over the place. I kind of just spoke to you guys as I remembered it, rather than pre-planning what had happened and write it down. But maybe next time if I do a story time, what I'll do is kind of go over what happened, the story, and then kind of make bullet points, so I talk in more of an chronological order, which I don't think I did this time round, so apologies for that. And other than that, I will catch you guys on my next video. Bye. No, I don't like that. Oh, following week, no.